Hi, I'm Josh Carving, and welcome to another Death Battle prediction video, but first, Batman versus Iron Man. This is actually an interesting one. There's been a lot of discussion since the episode came out. They basically included everything that was brought up. There were some discussions as well between basically people in certain Discord servers and the researchers that have me somewhat leaning towards Iron Man, but I think the main thing with this episode is that they didn't convey that terribly well. I know it's obviously like a really fucking big episode, like two characters with almost 100 years of publication stuff. I think, like, we're getting there at least. And just all sorts of crazy ways that this fight can happen. But I don't think that they did a very good job of explaining why Tony wins. They basically said the Godbuster can fight Celestials, which means that it's even with the Hellbat, which fights Darkseid. But they quantified things that, say, Darkseid did, or they actually gave a lot of numbers for the Hellbat. But they didn't do the same for any of the Celestials. They didn't give anything in that regard. Like, they gave specifics for the Hellbat, but then they were just like vague, like, Celestials are pretty similar. Which kind of leaves me in a bit of a humming and hawing about some of the episode. They don't explain why Tony scales to specifically some of the characters that they said. Like, sure, he's fought Celestials, but I don't think that Tony's ever actually fought Franklin Richards. I don't believe he has. So they could have done a better job of explaining why he scales to these characters. Because, I mean, sure, if he fucking scales to Franklin Richards, then sure, I'm totally on board with it. They also didn't really do a great job of essentially the strongest suit in the fight, which is the final Hellbat. They basically kind of brushed it off with, like, it controls minds, that's about it. And, like, when that was actually the strongest suit, it scales either to equal stats as the Hellbat or higher, because it's hyped up to be something that even Bruce with access to the Hellbat used as his, like, ultimate final suit. And then they kind of didn't really go into how he counters it beyond just one specific black box at the top, which is the AIs, and him resisting from Mephisto basically means that the final Batsuit isn't a win condition. Which, one, they didn't really go into the Mephisto thing. I'm assuming that means that at one point Mephisto tried to control him and Tony resisted it. But then you have to really look at the fact that the final Batsuit controlled the Justice League, which has a lot of feats of resisting those kinds of effects, and the final Batsuit still won out. So is there evidence that Mephisto has better control than the resistance feats that the Justice League have? They didn't really go into it. The AI copies is a bit more valid, because it means that even when Tony gets controlled, it would essentially make it so that they wouldn't immediately go down. But I think you would have to basically make the case that Tony wouldn't be in the Godbuster, because the Godbuster is kind of the only one that's going to be keeping up with the Hellbat or the final Batsuit. Any of the other ones are basically fodder. I also saw the argument mentioned that since Tony can remotely control them, he doesn't even actually need to show up to the fight, and the final Batsuit controls minds with a biological aspect. Again, you would have to look at parts of the final Batsuit, which this is part of the problem too, is that it's such an underdeveloped suit. I think it's only appeared in like one comic. That a lot of the specifics are left a little bit vague, but if there's, say, for example, Cyborg, who probably has a lot of other things, feats and showings of very similar stuff to Iron Man, where he would have AI backups, he would have things like that, and I think Cyborg was present in the final shot with the final Batsuit when the Utopia that he made. So there's a lot here, but I feel like a lot was left out, probably for the sake of simplicity. What they presented is a basic rundown of why Tony wins, which I can accept, especially because this is a very debatable fight, actually. I think you could potentially argue it to go either way, but I just think that they could have done a little bit of a better job of conveying their side of things. The animation was really good. A lot of people are like, oh, the final Batsuit wasn't in the animation, but it's like, okay, how many custom sprites and shit did they have to make for this one? They're not Batman levels of rich at Death Battle, so they can't exactly, or Iron Man levels of rich, because I actually checked into this. Iron Man technically is has a higher net worth than Batman, so I guess that's why he won. But yes, the animation was very good. It was a good kill too. There's not too many. One of the things that I tend to be sad about is when we get deaths that are just ooh, big blast, and then person's gone. But this one was definitely more unique in that it was the suit keeping him there, and there was a lot keeping it as a very unique kill. So I'll definitely take that one. It was a good episode. And then we come to the actual episode that we're talking about now, which we won't be for very long. So Reverse Flash versus Goku Black. So is there anyone who thinks that Goku Black can actually win this? Yeah, Reverse Flash is busted. So I'm going to put it out there right now. Reverse Flash can't die. He's even had people who are able to kill people who cannot be killed. And they killed Reverse Flash, and then the Reverse Speed Force just resurrected him, and he can just go right back to where he was in the fight. So, unless Goku Black is capable of destroying the Reverse Speed Force, because comics, of course, he doesn't have a win condition. He can't do anything here. And then that's not to say that, Goku Black can actually kill him, because just the power difference here is astronomical. There's and they're already scaling him to Wally and Barry racing the multiverse and destroying it and shit, and Goku Black is just fucked. There's just no recourse here. He's out-hacked, outsped by an astronomical margin, out-muscled, in every way. He resists almost all of the stuff that Goku Black has. And then the funniest thing, too, is that the time ring, people are going ooh, at least he can't, age him and, go and fucking... He's acausal. But you know who else is acausal? Is the Flash. And you know who Reverse Flash fucks with a lot and ignores his causality? And in fact has actually specifically brought up the fact that he fucks with someone who is acausal, is Flash. Yeah, so he could technically ignore the time ring and still, go back in time and erase him from existence and shit. It's funny to see some of the crazy shit that Reverse Flash has. He's the pettiest asshole, and the bite we've seen from the fight so far is just I'm very much into this one, and I'm not even invested in either series. I'm not a huge DC fan, I'm not a huge Dragon Ball fan, but this one's just looking fun. Yeah, honestly, that's all I got. Reverse Flash just kicks the shit out of him effortlessly. Even if they give him fused Zamasu or infinite Zamasu, it's not going to do anything, because it's oh, what's that? Reverse Flash needs to be able to destroy the multiverse? Sure, he can do that. So there's really nothing that Fused Zamasu can do to add to the fight. It's just like, oh, well, there's a little bit stronger now, I guess. So, yeah, that's all I've got for this one. We'll see you for the next one, which we already know is Macho Man Randy Savage versus Kool-Aid Man. All right, have a good one.